Close your eyes for a second and imagine a machine that knows absolutely nothing. It doesn't understand language. It doesn't recognize faces. It doesn't even know what a cat is. Then one day, after seeing millions of examples, it suddenly does. That moment, when confusion turns into understanding, is where artificial intelligence is born. Not in a laboratory full of robots, but inside invisible math, data, and feedback loops that slowly turn raw information into something that feels like thinking. Today, we're pulling back the curtain and walking through how AI is actually trained, step by step, in a way anyone can understand. Training in AI starts exactly like teaching a child. You don't begin with philosophy or complex theory. You begin with examples. If you want a child to recognize a dog, you show them hundreds of dogs: big dogs, tiny dogs, brown dogs, wet dogs, dogs in shadows, dogs in sunlight. Over time, the child builds a sense of what dog means. And AI learns the same way. It doesn't receive understanding. It builds it slowly by looking at massive collections of examples. These might be pictures, sentences, voices, or patterns in data. At first, everything looks like meaningless noise. The machine has no concept of what matters, but hidden inside it is a flexible system designed to notice patterns. It doesn't learn by memorizing. It learns by adjusting itself every time it gets something wrong. When an AI sees its first example, it makes a guess. That guess is almost always terrible. It's like asking someone to identify a song after hearing only static. But the magic happens after the mistake. The system compares its guess with the correct answer. The gap between the two is pain. That pain becomes information. The AI slightly shifts the way it thinks, just a tiny bit, to reduce that pain next time. Then it tries again, and again, and again. This loop, guess, fail, adjust, happens millions of times. Each mistake is not a failure, but a lesson. Slowly, invisible connections inside the system reshape themselves. Patterns begin to emerge. The chaos starts organizing itself into structure. At some point, something incredible happens. The AI no longer needs the answer for every example. It starts predicting correctly on new things it has never seen before. This is where experience turns into instinct. Just like a musician who no longer thinks about every note, the AI no longer struggles with basics. It has absorbed the rhythm of the data. It doesn't just remember examples, it understands relationships. This is the moment people describe as the AI getting smart. But it's not intelligence like ours. It doesn't know it understands. It has no awareness. It is simply a mirror of the patterns in the world it studied, reflected back with terrifying accuracy. An AI is only as wise as the world it was shown. If it trains on shallow data, it becomes shallow. If it trains on biased data, it becomes biased. If it trains on rich, diverse examples, it becomes powerful. This is why training data is more important than fancy algorithms. The data is the story of humanity told through numbers and symbols. Every sentence ever written, every image ever captured, every voice ever recorded. The AI absorbs these fragments and weaves them into something that feels like knowledge, even though it's really just the shadow of our collective behavior. What people imagine as training often looks like a lightning bolt of insight. In reality, it is a long, silent grind, massive computers humming in the dark, processing tiny improvements across weeks or months. Each improvement is invisible on its own, but together they become something transformative. This is the unseen labor behind every smart assistant, every translation, every recommendation. It's not magic. It's persistence at a scale the human brain cannot imagine. Eventually, the training stops. The AI is released into the world, but its learning never truly ends, because the real training now happens through us. Every question you ask, every correction you make, every interaction becomes a new lesson. The machine reflects what we give it, and that means the future of AI is not in silicon, it's in human intention. AI is not becoming human, it is becoming a reflection of humanity. It learns from our words, our images, our ideas, our mistakes. And the better we understand how it is trained, the more responsibility we carry for what it becomes. Because in the end, training an AI is not about building a machine. It's about deciding what kind of world we want that machine to learn from.